How much can you really learn from a single sentence? Well, today we're going to find out. We are about to unpack the entire massive concept of quality control, and we're going to do it using only the clues hidden inside 12 simple words.
And here it is. This is our entire source for today's deep dive. I know, it might not look like much. It's almost forgettable, right? But believe me, this one sentence is a perfect blueprint for a concept that keeps pretty much everything you use safe and reliable.
So, what secrets are actually hiding in plain sight here? We're about to break it down, piece by piece, to build a complete picture of what quality control really is and, why it matters so much.
Okay, first up, let's look at the nouns in here, the what of the whole equation. Our sentence calls out two key things, products and parts. And getting the difference between these two, well, that's the absolute foundation of all of this.
So our sentence kicks off with the idea of checking. At its core, that's all quality control or QC really is. It's just a system for making sure things are made the way they're supposed to be. Pretty straightforward so far, right?
But what exactly are we checking? This is where it starts to get really interesting. Think about it like this. Say you're baking a cake. Is it better to check if your eggs are fresh before you mix them in, or is it better to just check the final cake after it's out of the oven? The whole idea of QC is that the answer is both. And this slide right here nails that difference perfectly. A part is just a building block, a single component, like one of our eggs. A product, on the other hand, is the finished thing, the whole creation made from all those parts, like our final delicious cake.
So when we talk about parts, we're talking about all the little individual pieces. The single screw in your laptop, a little swatch of fabric for a shirt, a tiny computer chip, or just one wooden leg for a chair. These are the basic bits and pieces before anything gets put together.
And of course, all those little parts eventually come together to form products. That single screw becomes part of a whole engine. That swatch of fabric becomes a finished t-shirt. The chip becomes a working smartphone. And that leg becomes part of a complete chair. The product is what you actually buy and use.
And this right here, this is why that difference is so important. Finding a tiny flaw in one screw, a single part, is a super cheap and easy fix. But finding that same bad screw after it's already been put inside 1,000 car engines, the finished products? Whoa, that's not a problem. That's a full-blown expensive catastrophe. It's all about catching parts early to prevent massive product failures later.
Okay, so we know what QC is looking at. Now let's jump back to our sentence to figure out when it's looking. This is all about timing, and our clues are during or after manufacture.
Let's just map this out on a super simple manufacturing journey. Step 1, the raw materials and parts show up. Step 2, someone starts putting them all together. And step 3, boom, the final product is finished.
So that first option in our sentence, during manufacture, that's all happening right here at the beginning and in the middle of the journey. This means checking parts the moment they walk in the door and checking things as they're moving down the assembly line, long before they're finished. And the after-manufacture checks? Well, no surprise, they happen right at the very end. This is that classic final inspection. Testing the fully assembled product right before it gets packed in a box and shipped out. So let's just put these two side by side. Checking during the process is proactive. It's all about preventing problems before they can even spread. Checking after is reactive. It's the last line of defense to catch anything that slipped through. One saves the company a ton of time and money, the other protects you, the customer. Any great QC system has to have both.
All right, we figured out the what, and we figured out the when. Now it's time to put all those pieces back together and see the full picture of quality control that was hiding in that sentence the whole time.
So let's look at our sentence one last time. It kind of hits different now, doesn't it? Every single word is loaded with meaning. Parts versus products, during versus after. These aren't just words anymore. They're strategic decisions in a really complex system.
And because we know that, we can now build a much richer, much smarter definition. See, quality control isn't just checking stuff. It's a whole strategic process of checking both the components and the finished goods at multiple points in time, all to guarantee a great result. This matrix really puts it all together beautifully. It shows you the 4 key moments for QC. You can check parts during the process, like inspecting wood when it arrives. You can check the product during the process, like testing a car's engine before it's even in the car. And then, of course, you have that final inspection of the finished product after it's all done. Each check has its own vital role to play.
And this really gets us to the most important idea we've unpacked from that simple sentence. Real, effective quality control isn't just one checkpoint at the end of the line. It's a constant process that's woven into every single step of making something.
And what's wild is that this is a huge industrial philosophy, right? Billions of dollars, millions of jobs depend on it. And yet, we just understood the entire core concept from a single sentence, just 12 words.
So if you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Modern quality isn't about finding mistakes at the end of the line. It's about designing a system that prevents those mistakes from ever happening in the first place. Quality is built in, not just bolted on.
So I'll leave you with a final thought. Just look at something near you right now. Your phone, your coffee mug, whatever. Now that you know how this works, can you kind of see the invisible fingerprints of quality control all over it? Where do you think its parts were checked? When was the final product inspected? It's this hidden system that's everywhere. Thanks for tuning in.